where that was, at least from the 60s, which now, you know, when we first started surveying, 60s wasn't that long, and now it's 80 years,
Right.
or 60 years, so. Okay, G12, this is one of my, hardly any history on it. I was struggling. It's out in the middle of kind of nowhere. I found some old notes of John's in 1984 where he had tied into a railroad spike. This road is another one of those that was pulverized, and as soon as we drove on it and I knew it was only supposed to be a spike, I was fearful. There's two power poles relatively close to the corner. One's 173 feet away and another one's 105 feet away. I walked over to them. I found two yellow tags, witness tags, do not disturb. I called the county hoping that was theirs. I called Mike to see if they had any information on it, and he sent me over 3 surveys that he had where they had tied it in. I just happened to be talking to Ed about something up in Covert, and I said, hey, you don't happen to use these witness tag things, do you? He goes, yeah, sometimes I do. Where are you at? And I told him, and he goes, well, let me look now or I'll forget because I'm going hunting this weekend. So you were getting ready to go. I appreciate you taking the time, and we found it was his. He happened to have tied that in with his GPS in 2018. I kind of went through this earlier, but that railroad spike was gone. There was no draw. We excavated. There was nothing there. We fired up the GPS. We tied into the section corner to the south, which was a Remon corner. That hit consistent with what John's distance was and what, you know, Ed had tied in 2018. He also had a couple other witness ties, Ed did, which didn't make it on this survey, or on my list, I don't think. But we tied into those, and everything was checking within a couple hundredths of where I was going to set the corner. So we excavated a big enough hole, put in a box, 36-inch long pipe with brass cap on top of it, and witnessed it, and going to call it, since best available evidence of the original corner. So there is really no occupation east and west out there. It's a bunch of fields, and I think farmers own quite a bit of that land. So there's no fence lines or anything east and west of that. So
didn't sound like any of the corners was, you had any occupation or evidence.
No, the only thing that I was glad I found was that barbed wire going through those trees on that center, because that gave me a lot better feeling that I was at least reestablishing something that had been used for numerous years, at least by what the property owners felt was their property. So not enough to set a monument at the intersection of quarter lines anyway.
Right.
So
10 feet.
That 10 feet.
Both directions back then was nothing.
And it's not really hilly back in there either. I mean, it's not like some of these corners like that Galene River Basin one that, you know, it was like this, you know, it's relatively easy walking both ways. So I was surprised that I couldn't find anything at that intersection of quarter lines, but that barbed wire, I mean, that kind of tells a story, especially going right through the middle of those trees. So I guess based on the evidence that I found and old witnesses and everything, I'd like to recommend that we accept the corners as set or presented.
I'll make a motion to ratify the corners as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Yeah, one question I have is when do we have to have everything to you by, stamped and signed?
Well, we changed the time a little bit, I think.
Okay, all right, well, I can stick around. Who else is presenting? Just Ed?
Were we talking about the 13th?
It was the 13th,
Okay,
November 13th.
okay.
November 13th. Cut me close. Yeah, guys, don't make me work the
You get one, Mike?
Everybody got one?
I do, yeah.
So I apologize, the sketch is a little weak. I lost my drawing this morning when I was trying to just add a couple more things to it. I did email you guys a link to a Google Map drawing that, or Google Map that has these corners shown on it, so that you can, if you want to bring that up, you can take a look at the occupation lines because the aerials turned on and the corners are geo-referenced, and they, on that map, they reflect where they are in the field.
I was impressed there.
Like that?
It won't come up on my phone.
Sorry. You can use my phone in a different time,
Okay.
but you can't do it, so.
We'd have to spray it.
Right, we have to let it age. So, we're in Bainbridge Township. First corner we'll talk about is C2, which is the east quarter coast of section 6. Set in 1830 by Lytle. Had a survey from 1893, called for a stone. Gave us some distances. We got one of the distances checked. The distance to the south measures pretty good. And then we've got from item number 4, which is Alton Howard, witnesses that match with Alton Howard, and then in 2001, Zwar was there, and I was there in 2020. So anyways, we found a 1" by 30" bolt, dug down, and then below that there was a 5/8 by 24" iron, and then we dug further below that. We were already pretty deep in the road at that point. We didn't find a stone, but I'm pretty confident with the position of the corner based on the occupation and the fact that we got the distance from 1893 to check pretty good. So we'll go another half mile south to C3, which is the southeast corner, section 6. Same thing set by Lytle. We've got that survey from 1893 with the distance to the north. Checks pretty good. And actually the distance west to the south quarter goes to 6. I didn't put it on here. They measured 2669, and I think I've got 2667 or something like that. And that's pretty hilly through there, so that would probably be a pretty good measurement. 1893. And then we've got some other witnesses that are still in place, and some distances that check with subsequent surveys. We found a 2" by 36" well point, a mom box. There was a call for a stone, so we excavated below it, probed around, couldn't find a stone. And if I'm going too fast, feel free to slow me down. But the next corner is a half mile south, which is C4. Berrien County witness card called for a stone, and that's really the only reference to a stone that we had. And I've got witnesses that check on pretty much all the surveys that I was given. We found a boat spike that was 14 inches long over a stone in a monument box. So what I did is I drove the pipe alongside the stone, and then I bent the pipe and the cap over the top of the stone, and I held the position of the stone. Distances measure pretty good from that corner. And then we go down to C5, which is the southeast corner, section 7. Don't have any real old information on this. We got stuff going back to 1972 witnesses. And from there forward, you can kind of trace the witnesses. But we found a 3/4" by 24" bar in a monument box, and it was driven into one of those limestone road beds, which is, it actually took me 2 trips to get this corner out because it was locked in there so tight. And when we finally got through that stuff, I didn't find a stone underneath it. So Now we'll go back up to the south quarter coast to section 6, which is B3. It was also shown on that 1893 survey. We called for a stone there. I think this is, at one time they farmed across this section line. So we've got a sketch from 1965, didn't say what the corner is, but it gives us the distance east to a pipe, which is, so this corner is off-road, it's 300 feet off the road. Then there's a north-south road, which is Biastock Road, I think. And there's a monument box with an iron in the road. And east of that, there's the pipe that's called for in this 1965 survey, I believe.
I think it's Boyer.
Boyer, yeah, maybe it is, yeah.
I got your map.
Okay, good. And in 72, Alton Howard was there and gave some distances, which for Alton Howard we're relatively close to.
Is that the one I was trying to help you find any information on? Is that
No, actually the one you were trying to help me with was a mile east of here.
a mile east? Okay.
And then George was there in 94 and he found the rebar, I believe, from the Alton Howard survey. And then he went back in 2005, that rebar was gone, I think because of farming activity, and reset the corner with his breakdown information from 94. So when we went out there now, we found the iron that was reset in 2005. I looked west of there a little bit because that 1894 distance is a bit longer than what we measured today. I didn't find anything else. And it's, so we held the position of that rebar that we found that was reset in 2005 from the previous surveys. So, then we go to the south quarter post of section 7, which is B5, which this corner is actually in the road. And 60 Barron County witness card calls for a stone. And after that, everybody calls for a 1-inch bar. You find some of the witnesses are still there. We found a 1-inch bar, 12 inches long, over a stone that was 24 inches deep. So we held the stone. I left the stone in place, and I drove the iron, or the pipe alongside it, and put the cap over top of the point of the stone. And then the very last corner I've got is the south quarter post to section 5, which this corner is off-road. There's virtually no history on it. It was set in 1830, and then John had a survey in 1995 where he was working in section 8. He had found a pipe and called it the north quarter post of section 8. I don't think it is actually the north quarter post because it's a long ways off the straight line split, and it would make the 8th lines look really wacky. So we started looking. We did a survey out there in 2008. We went to look for that corner. We started looking at the straight line split, and we found a stone 13 feet east of the straight line split and virtually on line between the section corners. At the southeast corner of 5 and southwest of 5. And what was out, and this is on the south line of Jolly Orchards. So to the north is Orchard. This is in the side of a hill. And it's all sand there. I mean, it's not like a gravelly area. So it would be unusual to find it's a pretty good sized stone. It's pointed. Now on the east side, there was a smaller dark colored magnetic stone. Had a pretty good draw to it. So that's what we used for the quarter post here. I dug the stone out, and then I set concrete monument, and then I set that stone back on the south side of that concrete monument, just on its side, just because I didn't feel like taking it home with me.
Hard to argue with a stone unless someone Showed it out of the way.
Yeah, and it looked like it was in pretty good, it wasn't laying over or anything weird like that. So I didn't see anything unusual out here.
There's no occupation north and south at all, is there?
No.
It's just that's all orchards.
I could get in that way. Yeah, so over here, with it being 13 feet off the straight line split, and somebody would have had to chain across here
Right.
to put that stone in, so there's a lake in the way. So I could see being off a bit.
The lake or a swamp hole?
Well,
Well, it's called Kibler Lake, but
Is it meandered?
that I don't know. I highly doubt it.
I don't think so. D3.
Yeah, I looked pretty hard through our old stuff that I had.
I haven't been there, I know that.
So Ed, I had the same question, any evidence or occupation contrary to any of these?
No.
And you recommend,
I recommend holding the corners the way I found them.
I'll make a motion to ratify the corners as presented by Ed Morse.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Yeah, they went across to the
Thank you, Ed.
pond.
Okay. that was awesome.
That's a good question.
Last but not least, Mike has his mask on?
We can because the Lions won, right?
I'm learning otherwise. I'm not that smart.
And what a game though, holy cow.
I just heard about it, I haven't watched it.
I can come upstairs real quick.
Gurley tried to do the right thing too. I mean, if he stops, oh my gosh, just happened to fall.
Detroit Lions players, touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the sarcastic fans.
Yeah.
All right, we got 6 corners down in Three Oaks, 5 are standard corners, if you will, and 1 is a center section. In sections 15, 16, 21, 22 area. Just gonna start off, go across the north line on there. There should be fairly straightforward for the most part. So, on F7, which is in Witt Road there, went through and found the iron in the monument box, kind of probed around a little bit. We didn't remove the corner yet, but we didn't hit anything down below on it. The road commission in Dreer called for a stone in there. I guess I put Dewey on my distance there, but he's got a distance of 2633 from F7 to G7. G7, he said it was a fence post rather than a stone there, so kind of in the ballpark, but then he had a 2630.4 going north and south. I got 2630.57, so, we're in the same spot, per se, and then through there, and then Garrett recorded it in 74, and then Tom recovered it in 2001 too with a survey. So that one pretty straightforward, going east on G7. This one, Lion set a post in 29, and Pratt came along in 1897. Placed a stone from the government witness trees, and Tom found the stone in 2001, and now they're found the stone now. So the distances Pratt had too are pretty reasonable and consistent, kind of through there. We're a couple feet different on pretty much every distance that he had, but it's consistently like 2 to 3 feet on those distances. So, and that one is, the Galena River kind of meanders through there a little bit. It's on the north side of the river there, if you want to call it a river, it's a glorified ditch. But there's a distance on the GLO notes down to the river, and it's fairly close to that, you know, within reason generally. So that one kind of made sense. I'll go across, they got G8 next in the staple packet, but I'm gonna go to H7 first. I don't really have a whole lot of history on that, other than since 1960 it's been a stone. For the history on that, and that's all I have besides the set post. And we went out there and found the stone. It was reasonable and made sense. So I don't have any reason not to hold that one. But the history doesn't go back too far. I was hoping that we'd have something in there that was an old county surveyor, like the Pratt stuff that said he placed the stone and however, but we don't have that on that one. So let's cross the Northland, so I'll jump back down to G8 on the south there. Once again, the distances are pretty good there on that one. Pratt's distance, I'm quite a bit closer, about a foot on that one, from the 1897 distance going east and west. The north and south distance, let me say, is a couple 3 feet, but north through the woods and across the river there, I can see how it's a little different.
It's a short half section there, that must have a 22. Interesting, but it looks consistent.
Yes, yeah, the 2616, 2619, yeah, you can kind of see it. East and west, you go from, across 23, you're about 2630, then you're around the, 2644, the next one, but the south one isn't, the distance between H8 and I8, it's a little short there. But then, yeah, you get in that 2616, 2619 range on next one between G8 and H8 and G7 and H7, but it's consistent on both sides for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
Plus it matches the old distances of.
yeah, yep. Yep, not necessarily a survey hotbed in there either. So, that was G8. H7, I'll skip H8 because that's the center. We'll go over to I8. Once again, don't have a whole lot of history on that one. The road there turns and let's say the corner is off the road, so you got kind of like a, not a 90-degree turn there, I guess, if you will, but the corner is across there. Road Commission just set an iron in 1960. With that, I've got the Commer had a bolt in 84 and 85. Skip was out there in 2007, said square iron bar. Matt was out there last year, and it was the bolt. There's a you know, a bolt out there, in the ground that's consistent, and everyone's kind of used it there, and it all makes sense, so no reason to, you know, not go with that or hold anything different there. So those are the straightforward ones. We get to H8, and that's the center, so you can see where H9 is, that's down to the state line. So H9, the state line corners were run basically along the state line without tying in any other corners to the north. On those, so that's, you know, how those were, but, so what we found at H8, there's an iron pipe in the road, and then there's an iron pipe in a monument box about 5 feet northerly of it. I think Wally and Elmer had held the iron pipe in the monument box for a couple surveys. And Dan, Zwar, and Skip Pitts have held the 1-inch pipe in the road. The pipe in the road fits the intersection of quarter lines a little bit better. It's about 3.3 feet west and 2.52 north of the intersection of quarter lines. And the reason I would look at holding the pipe in the road over the one in the monument box is that going westerly out of there, there's a railroad spike set at the intersection of, I think it's Siddig Road there, if I remember right. Going west, that is 380 feet, it's 379.89. And then there's a monument box at the 8th corner, the pipe in the monument box there, which is 8,200 south of and 2,200 west of the split using the 1-inch pipe in the road, not the monument box that's 5 feet north of there. So there's been,
Okay, 5 feet north of that.
yeah, well, I'm rounding off, but, so any
eighth corner wouldn't
surveys,
fit at all.
the 8th corner would not fit the box at all, correct? So the 8th corner was definitely set off the pipe. And I think if we kind of look at it, it looks like almost what happened. So I got 2643.2 between H7 and H8. If you go about that 5 feet, which is, you know, I got north 8 degrees west 5 feet, and look at the distance up from G7 to G8, it's 2638.61. It's almost like somebody took that distance there, came over to the stone, came down the same distance and tried to parallel it and set the box.
The distance to the east is also shorter, I mean, 2639.54.
Right, right.
Any evidence or occupation, I mean, other than what you were telling us about, you know, like any fence lines or anything else?
No, I mean, there's,
indicate anything?
you know, it's kind of farm country, and any occupation lines, there's not like fence lines there, it's more just overgrown tree line stuff, so.
Is there a distance going to the south, any history?
No, there's no history on that stuff on the side. In there's some history, there's an angle on, from the railroad spike going down, Siddig Road there. And, I can't remember exactly what it was, like 90 degrees, 39 minutes or something like that showed. And what I get is 90 degrees, 41 minutes using the pipe. If you go the other way, it's 90 degrees, 37 minutes. So it's like 2 minutes one way or the other on it. It's like, you know, it just kind of weird how.
How long do you think that eighth corner's been there?
It's hard saying, I really don't know, it's probably been there quite some time. But, you know, there's not any real history evidence on it, I mean, I got everything Jeff and Brian had and everything Tom had on that. in that. Yeah, actually, so I didn't request new stuff, but about 8 months ago, I was doing some
Brian.
survey work in here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of stuff from you guys on that. And then
Okay.
rifled through the county surveyor stuff.
In 1972 and 81, what, because they're obviously holding the Mon box, so what did they survey? How are we affecting those surveys? That's the question I'm asking.
The one that Wally did, it was like in the east half of I mean, east and west, it's not affecting it at all, it would be the north and south, like the right of way distance, is what it would have.
Okay.
So I guess if that's the answer to the question.
Yeah, so if they were splitting an eighth line north of there, then
Right.
we're talking 2.5 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you happen to do any excavation there to see if there's any other historical evidence underneath?
I didn't dig those ones up, you know, especially the pipe in the road, I didn't wanna lose that position at the point, because we didn't have, you know, the pipe and cap to replace with if we wanted, so.
It might help you if you dug at those locations to see if there was any other
Yeah,
evidence deeper, another pipe or something below that.
You know, the road commission would just put a box in,
oh, I know. Yeah.
and the basic, you know, basically a quarter corner of the state line, probably isn't very relevant.
I know, I tied it in, but, yeah. I mean, I thought, you know, north and south, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot there, east and west, it kind of, you know, I wanted to see where it was in relationship to the intersection of the lines and so. So, yeah, because everything was run, you know, obviously, you know, from north to south there with no corrections till they hit the state line. So those centers get a little goofy in there.
Yeah. What's the significance of that railroad spike, 379?
That's where Siddig Road goes to the south. So that would be like the road intersection point there.
And that's on line with that old
That's
pipe.
on line with the pipe, yeah.
So you have that pipe and the eighth
The
corner port.
It all line up
Oh.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, the eighth corner is a little bit off, but it's not,
Yeah,
I
that,
mean, it would be way further off going to the north.
mm,
So,
Are you planning to excavate?
yes.
Thanks for Brian's stuff there, so we can get a motion. We always do that anyway. I asked the question about looking.
And if you end up digging at those two spots and you find some other evidence below there that may be more historical or provide some other information.
Yeah, I mean, I could find something else below there, I don't know, you know, what, I mean, there's no
History of anything else?
paper evidence, right, so, yeah, I mean, there might be physical evidence there, something for.
The group could ratify the corner based on this evidence, subject to something,
Yeah, if I find something contradictory, I can come back.
or even, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if I dig down and find a stone a couple times away, I mean, it's the same position, right? And-
Right, use your discretion on this.
Right.
I'll make a motion to accept the corner, and to dig for, we, binding much I found underneath what we got for H8.
Support?
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Anyone else presenting? Any other new business? Any miscellaneous business? Um, any comments from the public?
Hey, John, I have something real quick, it's probably not, it's not related to rerun meeting at all, but just survey in general, so there's new administrative rules that in theory you have to have your whole number on this stuff. What do you guys get new stamps, or are you just gonna put, okay, you get new stamps?
I got one.
Okay,
I have a plat going and they won't accept it if I don't have the,
really, okay. Did you get a rubber stamp?
yeah.
Yeah, there's Acorn Sales or something, I think mine costs like 35 bucks.
Yeah, I think that's where I got mine from too.
Did you order it online?
Yep.
You send me the link?
Yep.
Okay.
It's really simple. And you just tell them what your 10-digit number is, and then they'll send
Send like a proof.
they send a proof, and then you get a JPEG and a PDF copy of it too to use.
Oh, nice, okay.
So
Perfect, yeah, thanks, if you can send me that link.
Yeah.
So, Dave.
just know it's
Because
a little bit bigger than the ones that are normal ones that we've had for years, at least mine is.
Well, mine's the same size. She got it to,
Well, maybe mine was just, maybe the outside of it, it's a little bit bigger. It's not, I don't know why my other stamp just.
good luck reading those numbers though.
I mean, yeah, you gotta,
Ridiculous.
yeah, they're tiny.
They're tiny, very tiny.
Yeah, I mean, in the interim, I've just been starting to put the, by the signature block, the full number,
Mhm.
and just still have.
I haven't even been doing, I've been kept my
No.
5-digit number on my drawings,
Yeah.
but I've been stamping it with the 10. I haven't changed.
No, we've changed all that on ours.
You've changed it to where, yeah, I just been putting PS 44290, but I've been stamping it with a new one.
Now the caps, I just been
Yeah, see, I did
stamping
that.
the 5-digit
You want the
number.
other
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I've
That's all I
got
got.
PS four
5-digit number on my
zero
caps.
Well, even the Remon caps, I just stamped my
Oh, yeah.
5-digit number.
Right, you can't get the 10.
You're not gonna get the 10 digits
There's no
to
way.
fit on there, there's no way.
And what about our regular just PS caps? I'm just gonna keep my 5 down, I'm not gonna try to get 10 digits.
You gotta get 10 on there, you'll never do the count.
Well, we do it, they do it in Indiana, don't they, Brian?
Yeah,
it's
but
in
they
Indiana.
got the bigger caps too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Because you got to set 5/8 rebar there.
That's true.
Or
yeah, I
30.
mean, I don't know that that's that big a deal, that part of
I have not changed my caps yet.
it. Are you planning on it?
I don't really plan on to, I just bought a 1,000-pound pack of them.
Well, I mean, for the most part, the caps are for us to know who's setting it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No, relevant to what you're saying, is that necessary for all of your LCRCs?
I think it
I
is.
think it is.
Okay.
Because isn't this part of Laura at some point?
Oops.
Yeah, apparently Barger said that if it gets, Barger said if it gets LCRCs that don't have your full number on there, they're coming back.
No, I haven't ordered one.
It literally took 2 days to get my stamp.
You did it? Okay.
Could you
I'll
send
have
me-
to reprint these out then.
I will.
So, thanks. Appreciate that.
Could you send me the link?
Yeah, sure.
Just order them for everybody, Bubba.
I will.
Yeah, that too.
See,
Give me a discount.
I like,
Yeah, we We probably.
Spotted cow beer is one of my favorites now.
That's good stuff.
I don't even know what, I'd have to look at what my 10 digits are, you know, if you're gonna put that on there. I don't need to stamp when I do the signature portion. I don't need to put a stamp on, but I do. I guess if you're listing my number.
It should be just the 40010 in front of your number,
Oh, is that what it always is?
Yeah.
because it's a survey
Thank you, Mike.
code. Yeah, sorry to bring up weirdness, but.
No. Any, that's kind of
Licenses
miscellaneous.
expire next week too. If you're at odd or even, whatever your year is.
So,
So I renewed mine,
I got mine.
and I think it was good for 3 years now.
Really?
Yeah,
No, I just did mine last week.
yeah,
I got it in the mail like 3 days after I did it or something.
me too.
Yeah, it was a nightmare going through the state thing. I think for me, I was still in, well, I didn't get any of that here, but I think I was still in under the MDOT password and code.
Oh.
Any other miscellaneous items? Meeting for next,
We need to discuss another meeting date, one more meeting date. So one of the ones that was proposed was on Tuesday the 10th. That's 2 weeks from now. If that works for, I know one of us isn't going to be able to be here on that date, so but does that work for the team?
I'm on vacation.
Tom, you're on vacation?
I'm on vacation.
I'm pretty much on vacation from Friday through November 16th, but not going anywhere.
so as far as the November 10th, for our last Remon meeting, you're not gonna be here, you're not gonna be here, and who,
Ed.
you're not gonna be here either? You're gonna present?
Yeah.
Matt will have to present too.
Which day is it?
Matt will?
Tuesday the 10th.
That is Tuesday, November 10th. I think you were gonna move it up to November 3, that's election day. I don't think this would be a very good place to be then, I don't know. There activity going on here?
That I'm not sure of. So as far as, let me check, that's why I have the calendar.
You don't need a stamp. You already got your stamp.
All right.
You want me to send you the link?
No,
So
I've got a
basically,
new
the
stamp.
3rd is available.
Thank you,
This
Doug.
room is available on the 3rd.
You didn't order one for me, did you, Bubba?
I didn't, but I can.
Brian's gonna
He's
be
gonna-
out,
he's gonna-
Ed's gonna be out, and
Will you be here the 3rd?
Third?
I can be
Hey,
here.
can you make it?
I can be here on the 3rd.
Ed, did you say you'd be here? Okay.
On the 3rd, yeah.
We need to have a quorum for Dale and Matt, you know, if Matt will make it.
I can't speak for him totally on that.
I kind of got,
But-
I had 4 jobs scheduled that day.
I would think he'd be able
John's having a
to.
Well,
hard
the
time
other thing
hearing.
is, no,
He's
we don't,
really close, John.
we don't have to have it on Tuesday, we can have it on a different day. We can break tradition here. So, Thursday, obviously, this place is Commissioner Day, so it's one I'd like to stay away from. But the week is open as far as the calendar goes.
Yeah, the rest of this week, I think would be difficult for me next week, which is Monday the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, be Wednesday. Thursday is Commissioner Day, so that wouldn't work,
What about Friday?
or Friday the 6th.
I'm on vacation the 5th through the 15th.
Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? And we need to find out from Matt, right?
Is there ever a situation where I can be a voting member, or am I just?
I believe, I'll have to check that out, but I believe I have you as an alternate.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
think
mean,
everybody,
I don't want people to miss their vacation. I'm
No,
not voting
absolutely
anymore.
not.
I'm not
Oh,
going.
I'm not gonna miss my vacation.
Well, I wanna make it as easy on the
Love you,
group.
John, but I'm not gonna do it.
So you're dedicated.
But I didn't know if I was only the alternate, if Brian couldn't make it. Can we have 2 voting members of the same company?
I believe so, if you're not
As long as you're not voting on
voting
your
on your own
corner.
corner.
so-
Yeah, you know.
Because I don't think I'm going anywhere. I mean, I'm
Then you
not,
know.
Good, thank you.
well, right, I am having surgery Thursday, so I don't know.
No, I meant if your wife had something.
Oh, no, Jenny does not have anything planned. She's gonna stay away. She's a terrible
We haven't
nurse.
come up with a date yet.
She doesn't.
So what day was that?
I think we're waiting on Matt.
Want me to come home?
Oh, well, we just need to make sure we set up a meeting,
Tell.
No, he's not here, just
oh,
come
I'm sorry,
come
I
with
thought
me.
maybe you texted them.
No, I,
Can you send me that link
Yeah.
too?
I'll add you right to my list. JK.
I probably won't ever need my stick.
Wally, are you available?
Yeah,
For, okay.
I think.
I'm talking the fifth.
The 5th would be a Thursday, so that would be a no.
I think.
And Tom, you're out of town 5th.
Well, tell me what date you're asking. Is that the third?
The 4th, Wednesday the 4th.
Fourth, right? The fourth?
Wednesday the 4th.
Okay.
I could probably make the 4th. I only have 2 jobs that day. And they're little.
You just have to start earlier.
Yeah.
The light only starts at a certain
Brian,
time
you
in
said
the
you're
morning.
on, you can only get out there.
Well,
so-
around here, so.
No, that's not, you're on vacation, so. Dale?
Unless I tag out tonight.
That works for you,
Yeah.
Dale? John Conlon? Okay. Mike, you can't vote, so.
Right. Yeah, I just roll with it, I guess. I mean, I just texted him, but sounds like the fifth doesn't work and third we can't do the election, so fourth is the day, right?
Let's go with the 4th, and we'll wait to hear back from Matt. If there's any change, as soon as Matt lets us know, I will let you guys know immediately.
And then
So
the
the
13th is
4th
whenever they
at
do.
1:30 here in the Board of Commissioners room.
Okay. So we're talking about that date, the 4th, which is a Wednesday at 1:30 here,
Yep, November
and that's our
4th,
final meeting.
final meeting.
Is there any other business before our peer group? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at
2:53.
2:53.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Still
Can you
online.
present